In Sri Lanka, incumbent Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has won a parliamentary vote to serve the country for the next 5 years as president. Wickremesinghe won a three-way contest. That's a week after Gotabaya Rajapaksa was forced to resign and flee the country amid nationwide protests over an unprecedented economic crisis. In a speech following his election, Wickremesinghe said divisions are now over. He will take charge of a bankrupt nation that is in bailout talks with the International Monetary Fund. The island nation is in the grips of its worst crisis in over 7 decades, facing severe shortages of food, fuel, and medicine. Wickremesinghe is also widely despised by the protesters who see him pursuing the policy of the former president. New protests are underway outside the Parliament building. Well, joining us now from Colombo, we have Executive Director of the National Peace Council of Sri Lanka, Mr. Jehan Perera. Sir, welcome to the program. Walk us through the recent political turbulence that we've been seeing in Sri Lanka, and in your opinion, is it far from over now?
The protests against the government commenced about a year ago when the then president made a very incorrect decision to save on scarce foreign exchange dollars by banning the import of chemical fertilizer. He also justified it on the grounds that chemical fertilizers cause harm to people, and therefore we should go in for organic farming, 100% organic farming. And our presidency is so powerful that he was able to impose this on the parliament and on the people in general. So the farmer protests started at that time. Subsequently, because of the shortage of dollars, foreign exchange, there was also a period of enormous power cuts, where for 13 hours a day, there was no power. Right now, I'm speaking to you, we are now in the midst of a power cut, but these are only for 2 to 3 hours, not 13 hours. So these 13-hour power cuts infuriated people who started gathering in their localities. This was then followed by a shortage of petrol and diesel for vehicles. And initially, it meant that we had to stay in line for 3-4 hours. Today, we are in line for 3-4 days. And the lines in front of the gas stations can exceed 3 to 5 kilometers. So this is the extent of the economic problems we are facing. And in that context, people said that the government must go because they saw that the government had mismanaged the economy. And apart from that, they also felt that the government leadership in particular had robbed the country of its dollars.
And Mr. Perera, the question is right now, has the selection of a new president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, will that appease the protesters, or are they adamant to see more change than what's already happened?
Now, there are two elements to the protest movement. One is the hardcore group of protesters who have been camping daily for the past 4 months. They are young people. They are more from a leftist background. They are university students, and they are they are insisting at this moment. They are insisting that the newly elected president should step down because they feel that this election is not a legitimate one. It is by a parliament elected 3 years ago who have lost their mandate because of their misgovernance of the country. But this parliament has now elected a new president. However, I believe that because the new president is indeed a man of great experience, he has been prime minister 6 times on 6 previous occasions, including this one, and he is a very cultured man, very well educated, knows the ways of the world, negotiates and is a good negotiator. They feel that he might be able to, now that he's president, make a change. So I think the bulk of the people who also join the protest movement, as and when they are called upon and when they feel it's necessary, will want to give the new president a chance.
All right, thanks a lot. Jehan Perera joining us from Colombo.